it's Jen. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some suggestions that I think might be good to suggest to your book club. Now, when I think about good books for book club, I think about how universal the appeal is of the book. I think about the length of the book, not too long. I feel like that can be intimidating. And also, how readily available is this book that you choose? I think it's good for a book club to read across genres, because then everyone in the book club gets a chance to, really be excited about one of the monthly picks. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about just some suggestions. Some of these are backlisted, some are newer, but just to give you some variety of maybe some suggestions for your book club. I feel like good book club books sometimes can have, funny and flawed characters or morally gray characters. Maybe the theme of the book is a critique or opinion of society that can, or the world or culture, and that could really open up some deeper meaningful conversations. Sometimes morally gray characters in a book can really lead to a good discussion in a book club. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go over some recommendations for you. So if you're in the mood for some historical fiction, I feel like historical fiction is always a safe pick for a book club because obviously it's historical, right? So most people will be familiar with the time period or maybe more intrigued to learn more about a time period. You a lot of times will have multiple timelines, which I really enjoy. I have 3 to suggest, 2 of them with me right now. So the first one is The Kitchen House by Kathleen Grissom. This is one of my favorite old-time books. And this one takes place in 19th century tobacco plantation in Virginia. And you're following a young white girl who's orphaned from coming over from Ireland, and she arrives on the steps of the kitchen house and is placed under the care of Belle, who is the master's illegitimate black daughter. So I'm gonna leave it at there, but this one really was just, it had family bonds, it had deep family secrets. I fell in love with these characters, and this book got all the feels for me. So that's a good one. Another good historical fiction is The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. Anything by Kate Quinn is great. You're gonna have a lot of discussion in these, in her books. Just her characters are so well developed, and there's always a very good plot, and this would be a good suggestion as well. The last one couldn't find easily my copy, but The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Now, a lot of people have read that book already, but honestly, anything by Kristen Hanna is good for a book club because there's gonna be a lot to talk about. I apologize on the lighting. It has to do with my clouds. This always happens to me when I film. See, there I am, I'm bright again. I know the lighting is going in and out. It's just the clouds moving. So I apologize for that. But okay, next, let's talk about some books that may have some magical realism in them. Some suggestions I have are Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vandera. I hope I'm saying that right. In this one, we are following Joanna. This was a 5-star book for me too, by the way. We're following Joanna, and she just lost her mother. And she is battling some personal things health-wise with her and with herself. And so she decides to go back to rural Illinois and work on her graduate research about birds. She's out doing a solitary routine, just healing from some wounds that she's dealing with, and she finds a girl named Ursa. This girl is in the middle of nowhere, no adult in sight, and Ursa tells Joanna that she has been sent here from the stars to witness 5 miracles. So being in the middle of nowhere, Joanna takes Ursa in and takes care of her. And then she asks Gabriel, who's the neighbor, to help her kind of solve the mystery of this child, take care of this child. I'll leave it at that. This child is not on any missing website. No one in town knows anything about her. And it's just about the bond between this child and these two adults, and it was a little bit different, which I really liked. The magical realism, I enjoy that. If you don't, maybe stay away from it. But this one was just pulled on the heartstrings. Another magical realism one, and this one's historical as well, is Wayward by Emily Hart. This is, I think, a debut, one of my favorites of last year. You're following 3 timelines, 2019, 1619, and 1942, and you're following 3 women that are all kind of accused of being witches, and the way this wraps up and the way the timelines come together was brilliant. I was so amazed by this book. A lot of things to talk about in here too. All right, let's talk about some, I guess, what I would consider like contemporary fiction. Anything by Jodi Picoult would, you know, she does a really great job of finding a very hard topic to discuss, and really does such a great job of explaining and making you kind of question where your opinion lies, right? She does a great job advocating for both sides of the story, I guess is the best way to say it. 19 Minutes and The Pact are 2 of her older titles that stand out to me. You know, but she's got a great backlist as well, and she's currently coming out with books. You know, she's still an active writer, so it even has a sticker on here that says Readers Club, so I guess I'm not the only one. So Jodi Picoult, you're gonna have a lot of characters, a lot of sensitive, difficult topics, and it's gonna really make you think, which will make for a great discussion, a very deep discussion for your book club. I have not actually read this one yet, but The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This has multiple storylines and characters, or this has multiple characters. It's all the same storyline. And this is about one day these small wooden boxes end up on everyone's doorstep, and there's a string inside. The length of the string depicts how long you'll live. That's all I want to know. This has very high reviews as well. This one might be one you've already read with your book club. I wouldn't be surprised. And then Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. This one was another book that I really loved and recommend all the time. It takes place in Virginia, and you're following a bunch of different characters, different people that are affected by this one incident. There is a medical treatment device called the Miracle Submarine, and it's a pressurized oxygen chamber. And it's supposed to be therapeutic for patients. It's an experimental thing. And this isn't a spoiler, it's right in here. But it's not a spoiler. But the oxygen chamber mysteriously explodes, killing 2 people. And we'll leave it at that. Again, the way this all played out with the timeline and how everything came together was just so satisfying. This was a really good one. Okay, let's talk about some nonfiction suggestions. One of them I don't have with me. I can't find my copy. It's Educated by Tara Westover. These are obviously nonfiction, a lot of memoirs, those kinds of things. So Educated is one that people find is very popular. The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and The Sound of Gravel by Ruth Warner. So those are 3 nonfiction. Most of you have probably heard of Educated and The Glass Castle. Glass Castle is it's a memoir of resilience and redemption. We have a charismatic father who has a drinking problem. The Walls children kind of take care of themselves, and you're just reading her story. Heartbreaking. All these are heartbreaking. So The Sound of Gravel was a really good one as well. We are following a polygamous cult, basically, community in Mexico, and Ruth is the 39th child out of 42 siblings. And there is violence that completely threatens her community, and it talks about her family there, her unshakable belief for a better life. I don't want to spoil anything, but this one was also heartbreaking. Something about nonfictions that just break my heart. They can be hard to read at times, but great for a book club to talk about, right? Now, if you're kind of in the mood for something thrillery, maybe some great characters, some twisty, turny, you know, plot twist kind of book, Gillian Flynn, Sharp Objects. I think this one is such a good one. Now, obviously, Gone Girl is one of the most hyped thriller books. Everyone has heard of it. I love that one too, but I didn't suggest that here because most people have read it. But this one is one of my favorites by her. We're following Camille Preaker, who was in the psych hospital. She returns home. There was some past murders of some teenage girls when she was younger. We have a hypochondriac mother, a half-sister. Oh, I'm trying not to give anything away. Yeah, the mother-daughter relationship in this is what you want to talk about. I know this is kind of vague, but trust me, this is a good one. I don't want to give anything away. I'm worried I'm going to spoil something because I read this such a long time ago. Another one is The Only One Left. This is probably one of two of my favorite Riley Sagers. Anything by Riley Sager is a good choice. They're popular. They're fun to talk about. They're a page-turning, suspenseful, quick read that will not disappoint most readers. Okay, the last one I have is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This one is going to be, again, another twisty book. It's intense. It's a page turner. We have a serial killer named Calvin. We have a return home. We have a past murder. We have two best friends from high school. I don't want to ruin too much. I feel like there's more on the back of this book than you need. I wouldn't even read the back. Just know that there's twists and turns. It's a fast read, a lot of jaw-dropping twists, and I love a good book about a serial killer. So that's another really good one for a book club. So I hope that's all I have for today. I hope some of these sound interesting to you, or at least interesting enough to pick up and learn more about it. I know it's kind of brief on some of these, but yeah. Happy reading and enjoy your book club. I am jealous of anyone who has an in-person book club because I do not have one right now, but have fun with it. I hope some of these sound good and you pick them up and it's a success for your book club. And that's all I have for you today. So thank you for watching my video and happy reading. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.